to leave it, just get in touch with me. Is that okay? All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'll do it quickly. We will do maybe two of the 40 minutes, then we are done. I wish I can do just 140 minutes, but then you guys can sleep. So let me just do this one. In fact, it's not even a long thing. It's not a long thing. Something brief that we're gonna talk about. Okay, so straight to the point. When I'm done, I say goodbye. We can all rest. Me myself, I'm even tired. Yesterday, I took my jab, the vaccine, the injection. So I was feeling really sick. That's why I didn't meet you on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, so let's do this. Hydrographic survey, nautical charts, and coastal management. I think when it comes to nautical charts, it's like you know your maps already, but now let's take it to the water body. Let's take it to the sea, a river, or let's take it to the sea. I think that's the only difference. Apart from that, I would say it's the same thing between the map that we know, everything that we studied in cartography, map making, it's the same thing. Literally, it's the use of colors and symbols, to represent a reality. But here we are interested in what happens in the water body. Okay, so when you look at nautical charts, they are special because water itself is an interesting resource. I mean, there's a lot that happens in water. We heard of the dolphins and fishes that have been washed ashore, and yes, I may ask a question on it in exam. I mean, practically, it's the most recent incidents that we should all be able to relate to. Are you okay? So on the nautical charts, you find out that there are symbols that need to be interpreted. I think that's the main thing about nautical charts. They don't look like your normal chart, and also there are a lot of warning signs on it. Are you okay? When you look at the green symbol, that green symbol over there where my mouse is right now, so the red one and the green one, they are actually representing what we call buoys, and the buoys are also telling you about danger, where to pass and where not to pass. Are you okay? All right. So it makes nautical charts like like reading it becomes the main thing. It's not really about it's for the mariner, it's for the person who is actually the captain of a ship and those who are actually trying to navigate the sea. It's for them. It's not really something you do like, okay, I'm doing a topo for some people. Whether you get it wrong or not, nobody really cares. But there are safety concerns when it comes to nautical charts. It's very important. So what is it? What is a nautical chart? A nautical chart is a graphic representation of a sea area and adjacent coastal regions. So I just want, because it's a virtual, it's a lecture, okay? We are not at the sea right now. So the picture you see there really kind of should bring your mind to where we are talking about. Okay, for people who were brought up, some of us were brought up in the Midland. I mean, Kumasi, we don't have an idea that there can be a large water body, a large water body anywhere. It does exist. Are you okay? And if you want to make a chart, okay, that represents those areas, you are going to have to think about one, how do I get it done? Are you okay? How do I measure within water? I mean, obviously, even measuring on land has become a big issue for you. So that graphic representation of the sea area, there's got to be some sea aspect of it. So if you define nautical chart, you don't bring that in, then it's a problem. And look at a nautical chart, depending on the scale of the chart, it may show depths of water and heights of land. Are you okay? So yes, of course, we're looking at shallow areas, okay, and then deep areas that are really deep, okay. So, but obviously, depth information is very important. That it has to show on a nautical chart. It's like as if you don't have. There's not negotiable. You got to have some, height on it. But here the scale is coming in because, in fact, this is a question I should have put to you, but I'll answer myself. You're all tired. The scale is coming in because a certain scale, height it really doesn't matter. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That if you really look at it from a very high point, then your depth becomes how deep something is, how high something is, don't really matter. I don't know, yeah, understand what I'm saying. So Accra is considered to be a relatively flat area, but we all know that Accra is not flat. I mean, if you live in Accra, you will know that some areas are on the higher ground. Where I am now is far higher than where my brother is. He lives so close by. So the scale of the chart, depending on the scale of the chart, you may decide to show depths of water and heights of land. That's what that means. Okay. All right. So natural features of the seabed, things that we are talking about that should be seen on the nautical chart include natural features of the seabed. Are you okay? We need to look at details of the coastline. Are you okay? We need to look at navigational hazards. So this is where the boys come in and all that. So you need to understand that there should be an indication that says that, okay, there's a problem here. Location of natural and human-made aids for navigation, boys. Okay, there are more than that. Boys sounds good to me. I just love that word. I used to read a book growing up, touched a lot on coastal, the admiralty, coastal guards, lighthouses. When you read certain books, fictional books, you find these things in there. Information on tides and currents, very important. In fact, I put up, something on the currents. Every ocean, we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have the Indian Ocean, we have other ones as well. Okay. Now, Pacific Ocean. All of them have a way that the water is actually moving, the currents, different from tides. So locally, as you navigate the waters, you need to even get detailed information on how the water is. And honestly, it's not, I don't think I can even rely on anything like that. If I were a captain of a ship or a sailor or a mariner, these are words you use interchangeably. Okay, look, local details of the Earth's magnetic field is very important. So there's something called compass rules. Okay, so as an assignment, all of you go and read about compass rules. So I'm going to type it. Yes. Assignments. Read on compass rules. Can Google it, whatever. Just find out what it is. Compass rules. Obviously, it's a compass, but it's a special type of compass that, of course, will show you, which is relevant. I'm not giving the answer to the question already, but it's relevant to navigation. All right. So we need to be able to show, piers. There's something called a pier or something like that. Like, these are concrete structures that go deep into the sea. Buildings, bridges are very important. Are you okay? Because remember that at the sea, there's a point where most of these rivers are meeting the sea. Are you okay? All right. So we need to know all the features around the area and then to know the tidal, information, yeah, and currents. We've had people disappearing, kids who got drowned. You are swimming in water, then you get drowned. It doesn't make sense. But obviously, so such information is very important. Okay, so we need to have a way to get all that on a map. All right, so yes, that's the one. I saw this one and I thought it's worth sharing. So you can see that this is a very nice and quick and dirty way of representing everything I'm trying to talk about in terms of the type, the current information. But obviously, that information is important for you, for your own safety. Are you okay? You need to have that on a chart. Sources and publication of nautical charts. Nautical charting may take the form of charts printed on paper, or we can have it computerized. Of course, in this day and age, the danger also of having data using computerized charts is that what if you're in the middle of the sea, battery isn't running, computer crashes, you don't have it anymore? What are you going to do? So this is one point where you're going to go like, okay, we are now moving to the computer age, but I don't want this. Are you okay? I'm not interested. I want to have a combination of paper and then what? The digital and computerized version of it. So There are, of course, digital and computerized versions of nautical charts, but you really need to print out your hard copies and then see how it goes. But we also find out that nautical charts need to be updated on the fly. In other words, at any particular point in time, what you're holding should, are you okay, be the one that is relevant. If you understand what I mean, because things change on the sea. If you have to import a car from Europe or something, if you have a brother in the US, you need a car, you realize that it doesn't take a day. Yeah, it takes months, sometimes 3 months or so. And so over that time, things have changed. As you travel, okay, across the oceans, you are going to have to update, okay, and get to know that, okay, what I was looking at in June is no longer what it is in July at this particular port or ocean. So it's a whole area of study that we need to appreciate. Is that okay? Nautical charts are based on hydrographic surveys. I think that is why we are learning all this. So the hydrographic survey then, of course, that's why you did hydrographic survey one. So you need to find a way of actually measuring. Are you okay? And what are we measuring? Depth and position. Okay. All right. And then considering, of course, the water levels. Okay. As surveying is laborious and time-consuming, hydrographic data for many years of sea may be dated. Take note of that. That surveying, that is why it's expensive. You see, people, you can do survey and make a lot of money. Just survey. You get data, nobody care. You make a lot of money from just surveying. You don't take it to the next level. So it's, but then it's laborious and time consuming. And as such, you'll be having a nautical chart that may not be what's updated. So put that in your mind. All right. So obviously, a lot of methods are being used. The whole focus, okay, the whole focus and objective of your mapping on water, charting the waters, is to make sure you are safe. That's all. So historically, you have, sounding lines have been used, okay, to just sweep a whole area and to find out if we have protruding objects or we have some, metal mass that are sticking out. Are you okay? Echo sounders have also been used. Are you okay? All right. When measuring the safe depth of water over an entire obstruction, such as a shipwreck, then the minimum depth is checked by, of course, using these methods. Are you okay? It depends on which one is convenient. You go for it. But as an engineer, you need to make the decision yourself. Nautical charts are issued by power of the National Hydrographic Offices in your organization. So in Ghana, obviously we had the survey department. We now have the survey and mapping division of the Lands Commission. So we are going to now have to revise it, isn't it? So that, okay, so now what happens to the hydrographic surveying? If you now put everything under Land Commission, then I think we need to make a Land and Sea Commission. So you see, I think our studies at this level, exposes us to a lot of shortcomings in some of the things that are done in our country as part of our developmental efforts. Okay, because hydrographic survey has nothing to do with land per se, it's just water really, and then of course a bit of land at the shore. All right, so the chart from your national organization will be considered as official in contrast to those made by commercial publishers. All right, because commercial private organizations, obviously, they have their own, profit-minded, thinking. Okay, so it's important that we do updates as is shown on the board at the moment. We need to have the update, that regular updates, very important. All right, there's a need to also unify the charts. So you have produced your own national charts, but then it has to be unified with an the International Hydrographic Organization. And the International Hydrographic Organization is there for, I believe we all agree why we need an international hydrographic organization, because you normally want to travel from one country to the other via sea. I mean, obviously, if I'm traveling from Takrady to let's Qatar. Are you okay? I mean, why would I want to go by sea? I mean, like nobody does that. I agree. Let me put nobody does that. So you want to normally look at hydrographic charts when you are looking at navigating the seas from over larger distances. So talk about a nautical mile. If you heard about a nautical mile, really, it's kind of a I don't know, a more effective way of measuring over large distances, large spans. Okay, so when we are even measuring from the Earth to satellites that are flying above, we want to make use of nautical mile simply because nautical miles are more applicable to navigators, to mariners. Okay, as opposed to using kilometers, if you like, or miles per se. All right, so we need to get updates, and the updates can be on a weekly or, if you like, more regular basis. Okay, so yep, the nature of a waterway depicted by a chart may change. Okay, an artificial age navigation may be altered by short notice. It's very important for you to know that something just changed and we need to notify you about it. That is the nature of a nautical chart. Your topo map doesn't work like that. Okay, when it doesn't show cars, it doesn't show where accidents have just happened and all that. So we can actually draw a distinction between a topo sheet and a nautical chart. Please, I'm not saying this is coming in exams. I'm just saying that we should all recognize that. Okay, all right, so don't think you're going to take this personal. Therefore, so all the uncorrected charts should never be used. Okay, put this in your mind so that you don't get arrested when you go and do a project like that and they start looking for you, because maybe at the time you finish school and you are part of GHIS and you're taking a contract and you've forgotten everything that you learned in your hydro and you're using an old and uncorrected chart. All right, no, but you won't be on a ship like that, would you? All right, so every producer of nautical chart also provides a system to inform mariners of changes that affect the charts. Okay, very important. These are just key. Why? Because there are some limitations, okay, to nautical charts. So I don't think this ship is looking like so cool. I put it there because the MV Merfield is actually, or Meerfield, okay, I'm not pronouncing it well. It's a merchant vessel, okay, which is actually named after Mayfield, okay, Scotland, which got struck, okay, by an unknown object in the Indian Ocean. So the Indian Ocean is going to be near India, isn't it? In waters charted at a depth of greater than 5,000 meters. Okay, so that is Mayfield hits a sea mount. In other words, there are mountains under the sea. Okay, just as we have mountains that are protruding visibly to us on the surface, on land, we have also these things happening on the sea. It's okay. Now, because of this incident, then it was very important for people to now say, okay, even though I have my chart, then I need to be very careful how I go about navigating the waters. Okay, so in using your chart, then take note of some of the limitations that you can have with the chart. If it's not updated, you will have an issue. It's not going to help you. You end up having a whole lot of accidents. Are you okay? In fact, positioning even cause more accidents than death. Are you okay? Sometimes people don't even know where they were on the sea. Before coordinate systems were improved over time. Okay, so it's very important for us to recognize that the accident that happened with the MV Merfield, okay, brought people's attention to the fact that it's very important to map the sea. Okay, that wasn't the only incident that happened. There are more incidents that have also happened in the past. Okay, all right. For example, in 1983, Her Majesty's ship, say HMS, if you heard of HMS, Moresby, okay, which is actually a Royal Australian Navy survey. And you know that Australia has a certain like the British, okay. It surveyed the area where Merfield happened was damaged and charted the detail. Okay, so when you say charted, that means marked the area. Are you okay? And so the unsuspected hazard was actually found to be the sea mount. So a sea mount, like I said, will be a mountain under the sea. Is that okay? All right. So we had other incidents that happened. Are you okay with passenger ships? 1992. There's more that happened with the Queen Elizabeth. Are you okay? I mean, seriously, you don't want to be on a ship that got sunk. So these are not funny things. These are to say, go out there and measure how deep areas are, and then let's know the the hazards on the sea. Myself, like seeing the sea alone is like, wow, this is awesome. Let alone like going there and trying to be surveyed. But obviously, we need to do that. That is why we are being taught and being trained, of course. So there's a lot of incidences in history that point to the need for the mapping of the sea. Are you okay? All right. So then, as engineers, we don't get emotional about it. Yeah, incidents happen, but we find mitigating ways, solutions for the problems that we have, so that we don't have them repeated. Is that okay? So, what kind of map projections apply when it comes to nautical charts? Okay, so the Mercator is very good for mapping for the charts. Using the Mercator really help make up Mercator projection. So the Mercator projection is now used in the vast majority of nautical charts. Is that okay? And I believe we all know that the UTM, the M in UTM is Mercator. Is that all right? Okay. And Mercator is a guy who actually investigated to find out, how the F shape and all that was like, and then he ended up developing this, map projection system. Your assignment is the compass rules. You want to have a look at it. Now, when you look at any nautical charts, then the top of it is supposed to be the magnetic north. Are you okay? All right. So take note of that. Okay. Magnetic north is not the same as true north. I believe we all know the difference. Okay. So let's look at this one. The use of Mercator projection has drawbacks. This projection shows the lines of longitudes as parallel. I think we've looked at it, in terms of the Mercator projection and how the lines extend as we approach the poles and all that. And all that has been looked at in map projection, minimizing, the error. Are you okay? The error, the distortion. Are you okay? Distortion is error. So those things that we talked about still apply when we talk about the Mercator projection. Okay, so we can read more about this one. Map projection, yeah. I think we all know what it is. I don't want to go over it. Are you okay? I think we know about map projection. WGS 84, when we say a datum, what does that mean? Are you okay? We know what the bearing is, don't we? I think it's very important that we take note of the bearing. Okay. Okay, a bearing is the angle between the line joining 2 points of interest and the line from one of the points to the north. Okay, so this one, I don't think, you should be thinking something different. It's the same thing that we know that we are talking about when it comes to map projection. Is all right. All right, most charts include a compass rules. So your assignments, yeah, depicting the variation between magnetic north and the true north. All right, so take note of that. Very important. So let's read more about this and then let's move. Okay, let's carry on. Electronic and paper charts. I think I've already touched on electronic and paper charts. So the note here is this: many mariners carry paper charts as a backup in case the electronic charting system fails. I just talked about that. Okay. All right. The labeling of a nautical chart is very important. The shades, the different shades of blue, as you can see on there, really tells you of the different, levels in terms of water and okay. There's a meaning to the color differences of the for the areas. Now, there's one interesting thing about the numbers. When you see that the depth information, like when you write 14 and it is not italic, it means that that value we are not sure about it. Are you okay? That is really, really one thing that we need to really take note of. I'm going to show another diagram that's going to emphasize on that. All right, now you see that here the boys are standing up vertically. It has a meaning. So there's a whole document that explains all the symbols, and there are so many of them. So many, I can't know all. I can't know everything on that. But there are contour lines too. So you can see that these lines here, are contour lines, the lines that are actually curving. I don't know if you actually see my pointer. Yes. So you can see this is a contour line right there. Okay. But otherwise, the 14, 14, 14, all these you are seeing are also depth information. Are you all right? Okay. So let's take note of this interesting, nature of a nautical chart. Okay, I can't go to the next page unless I close my nautical charts must be labeled with navigational and depth information. Very important. Are you okay? All right. But before we do this, I'm going to show you my PowerPoint on chart symbology. Is very important. It relates to, so here, I don't know if you can see it, right? So this is the particular one I want to show you. So on this chart, if you look carefully, you realize that the two here and the two here are different. Are you okay? One is italicized and the other isn't italicized. Italic soundings and continuous contour lines indicate an area of good quality sounding. Soundings are like measuring depth. Okay, great. So it's a combination of two things. You have an italic sounding, okay, and then you have a continuous contour. So this line going down is a continuous contour, okay. That combination of it is telling you that you can rely on it. You can rely on it. Once you have a broken contour, it means you cannot rely on it. And then you have the depth information being straight, normal, not straight, normal. Okay. So that is form, test form. Remember in cartography, talk about form. Okay. All right. So it's worth taking note of. And there are a few interesting charts here that I wanted to show you as well. Okay. It looks beautiful. That's the first thing that comes to mind, that this is so beautiful. But it's not really about its beauty, is it? It's about your ability to use it and the reliability. Are you okay? Whether you can rely on it. Obviously, brown areas are indicating the land. Are you okay? These are land areas. And then obviously, we can have other areas which are also the water areas with depths. Are you okay? All right. So let's move on. There's another one down here. That's interesting. Okay, marine reserve legislative restrictions apply to access. Wow. So you see that there's a host of information here. Radio position reporting points showing direction of vessel movements. It's showing the direction of vessel movement. So this is the direction you're supposed to take. This is the time to say, oh, I just want to see my girlfriend. Yeah. You'll be making a mistake. Are you all right? You'll be saying goodbye to the rest of us. Rock that covers and uncovers. That's the symbol for it right there. And you see let me get my pointer again. So these are just interesting drawings. I remember someone went for an interview and then they opened a drawing and they showed him. In fact, he told me that, I must confess to you, Franzi, when I saw that map, I was so scared. I didn't have a clue what that was. And the people who interviewed him said, we seem to be surprised. He said, yes. He said, this job is not for me. In fact, I don't have an idea, So a nautical chart may baffle someone who doesn't have an idea. I mean, if you are sinking at sea and you are supposed to be look at this, you may not be able to interpret it if you don't have any. An isolated danger beacon with light flashing every 6 seconds. Wow, that's a symbol. It's isolated danger beacon. See how it's been shown? All right. But now see how this one is tilted, but the beacon down here seems to be quite vertical. That one seems to be tilted. Okay. All right. Height of island 33 meters, brackets indicate off position. So now here we can see that we have a height on land, okay, being indicated. All right, out here. Depth of Chad 30.5 meters. Okay. So there's a lot of information. Anchorage area. Okay. All this is documented in a standard. Okay. Yes, Nicholas. Nicholas has a question. Or you've raised your hand, but you're not sure that you've about what you've done. Look, Nicholas, go ahead. Nicholas. Hello. So Nicholas has put up his hand, but he's not sure. We have 6 minutes. When this ends, please let's do the last one and we say goodbye. Is that okay? There's not much in this one. Okay, so Nicholas raised his hand, but I've lowered his hand. I think he's not sure he's done that. All right, so
Yeah.
yes, Nico.
Question.
Okay.
No, it's Juliet.
Juliet. Hey, so who is Nico? We talk about it. Go, carry on.
You said the brown part is the land.
Yes.
Does it mean it's an island?
Yes, obviously, when you look down here, we have the island. Can you see my pointer?
Yes.
So you can see South Moila Island. And we all know that islands are land areas, isn't it? So
yeah.
The water areas are these white areas. Are you okay? So they are not, these places are not, they are all, we have water. Are you okay? So
yes, sir.
This is a marine reserve. So this marine reserve means you can't go and fish there. Are you okay? So the brown areas definitely are. Okay. And yep. Basically that's basically it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's one down here. Let's look at this one too. So here we have Chevoit Hill down here. So I want something to just police point. So this even confirms that the brown areas are land areas. The police will never set up on the water, would they? We know them, don't we? Also, boys. Let me just write it down. Boy. Okay, buoyancy. Yeah, it comes from the word buoyancy. Boy. So when you watch Prison Break, when they escaped from the prison and then they were getting out, the arrangement was this: that they will be met by a boat at the shore. Are you okay? So remember, the shore is where the land is meeting the sea. Shoreline is like the line that defines where the sea kind of hits the land always. Okay, it's not a constant place. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So you realize that the boy came in the movie at a point where the boat didn't turn up when they got to the sea, and they were like, oh, we are messed up. Then as they actually swam deeper into the sea, then they saw a boat approaching. But then what did they do to survive? Because in the sea, what were they going to do? They found a buoy and then they held onto it. So it's like some floating object. Are you okay? Which kind of tells you the color of which tells you the danger or safety, whether you are safe or not. So obviously, where we see these, I don't know what color we call this, like violet. I mean, there's a better, name of a color for this instead of saying violet. Purple, yeah, I think, yeah, purple is a better color to associate with this one. So the purple color is actually telling us that, we have a certain situation. Okay, so there are different colors that will go for different, boys. All right, so I just wanted to show you these typical ones. Obviously, we can see that Whitsunday Island. Okay. So we don't pronounce this Island, Island. Okay, don't mind me. I'm being cheeky, don't mind me. So yeah, obviously 10, 15, 10, 20. So you can actually like interpret this. This is just educating you. The diagram you're looking at is educating you how to read it. But when you take a nautical chart, you wouldn't have all these notes there. You will have to tell that, okay, I'm seeing this, it means this. I have a broken contour line, it means I can't rely on the soundings. Are you okay? So you are there, you know, putting yourself in danger. All right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. Nautical charts must be labeled with navigation and depth information. Please, guys, this is all you need to know in these lectures. Few things you need to know. That you take a nautical chart, it has to have navigational and depth information. Is that okay? Automatic placement label, a few systems can do that. So let's take note of that. All right. So different countries publish their own data, the official charts, okay, as opposed to the commercial one. Hydrographic agencies will do that, but we need to also look at the International Hydrographic Organization, the IHO, okay, and we need to unite it. We need to sync it with it. Are you okay? All right. So there should be explanation to the documents. In fact, I just got a document. I have to give all this to you people. Is that okay? I don't know where I actually saved it to. I just downloaded it. I really don't know where it's gone right now. Let me see if it could be this one. All right. So if I'm sharing my PowerPoint, yes, that's the one. So you guys will see this one in a jiffy, and it's a whole document. In fact, when you read it, you begin to understand that if this is not serious, this is like, this is even not a current one. I just want you to know that there exists a document, you know, for the International Hydrographic Organization, which tells us about what is happening on the waters. Okay. Meanwhile, whilst we are doing all this, we are also trying to travel outside the earth to go and map the moon and all that. So human beings are really interesting, aren't we? Obviously. So you can see, I'm just showing you some pages or attitude data. This is a standard. So you can imagine, it's a standard. It's telling you